Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory, my fellow friends. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. I'm having a great one myself. In the last episode, we worked on trains. We got started with some basic trains. And right now, we're basically moving some of our iron ingots that we're smelting up here in our big super smelter stack. And we're sending them over to our new production facility, which we're working on right now. Also, in between episodes, we did a lot of work on power. And again, I promised you we're going to go over the turbo fuel in another episode. We just did a turbo fuel episode a couple weeks ago. So I'm not going to kind of go into the details just yet. But once I've basically built the first set up, because we're not quite done yet, you'll see. And it's a big project. There's a lot of fuel generators coming off this one set. And by the way, that's one pipe of oil that's powering all this stuff. Anyways, I'm just kind of spoiling it, but we'll learn about it later. It's not super relevant right now. But what is happening, though, is we're kind of at this junction, which I've been talking about for a number of episodes, where we're kind of like outgrowing our starter base, and we're kind of creating deficiencies where we have some basic manufacturing, but not enough. We don't have enough scale. So what I plan to do today is, and I'm going to kind of take you through it, is basically we're going to focus on a storage system and our train. So we're essentially going to be moving not raw resources, but processed raw resources, if you will. So like ingots. We're going to be moving ingots from our starter base where we have a bunch of pure nodes. We have 2 pure copper nodes, limestone, and 3 pure iron nodes, and we're going to actually move those refined ingots all the way over to our new manufacturing area, because right now we're really not using it, maximizing. So this like starter manufacturing thing is essentially going to go away. It was there to kind of get us to where we are now, but it's just not going to suffice. There's not enough room, and I figure instead of just like leaving it running, what I'll do is what I've been doing the whole time is I've been basically erasing these floors each time I need to do something new, and moving it somewhere else or changing up the configuration, and that's what we'll end up doing. So today's episode, all about storage, all about the raw resources. You can see there's a 4th beltway here. We're just connecting this up right now. This will bring in our 4th iron node, which we're not using right now, and have that all smelted up. This can benefit from more. I think we can actually get a few more going now that we have the higher tier the higher tier belts, but we'll see. I haven't taken a full look on it. Anyways, it's modular. We can add more smelters. We actually have quite a bit of room on this side as well, so we can kind of draw it out. Yes, we have our compacted coal facility here, but we can go the other way. We can actually expand out that way a little bit. I think I can't remember. I did leave some room, or we can L-shape it, or just lots of choices can be made here. Like we can just kind of shunt it off that way. And not that we need to add that many smelters. But anyways, let me get started. Let me finish this floor and connect everything up. Oh, also, I've been going through and cleaning up our base. It's been kind of turning into a bit of a mess, as promised. I tend to go back afterwards and then clean temporary stuff up. So we had a temporary kind of feed in here. But since we're going to shut this manufacturing plant down, I could get rid of it. And now I can actually create an official kind of transportation layer that's going to come through here and then over to our train. So that just, ties it up, make it look kind of like this here, where it looks structurally sound, although I'm missing a couple pillars here, looks like. And just that way, we can have a more final beautified state. Well, we've got the start of our storage system. You've already seen this stack here. This is a stack of iron ingots. I'm now working on converting these into plates. So we're setting up our plate manufacturer, and I've just kind of set it up in a way that's like, it's simple, it's stackable, basically. That's the whole point. It's just we can stack it up, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, whatever we want. But essentially, for each one of these stacks, I'm creating another stack of plates, and then my goal here is really just to have an abundance of plates, an abundance of rods, abundance of screws, all the natural, the basic things that we're going to need, because then we can feed those into the assemblers and we can make the more complex stuff. So in theory, try to do this on this side. I've left myself a bunch of room here. I don't know if it's going to work out perfect or we're going to need more space. It doesn't really matter. We can just kind of reconfigure things as we go if we need it. But we basically have a bus line down the middle here. We'll just keep stacking these up. These can stack up as well. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of this area. So I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep expanding this, kind of getting the scale and the scope into play. And then I'm going to start bringing some more resources over. Copper, more iron, and then kind of think about where we can lay out the next stage, where we take basic stuff and we turn it into more complex stuff. Okay, so I finished installing more of the constructors. So we've got basically 54 of them making plates. We're definitely running into a little bit of a production or a supply problem with our ingots. We're not bringing enough over quickly enough, which leads me to believe that we're actually just not producing enough on the other side right now. It's about 390 a minute. And if we kind of do the basic math per belt, so there's one belt splitting off here. So for 18 times 30 is 300 plus another 240, so 540. So we're just under by about 160 ingots per minute. I think there's an opportunity on that side to expand our smelter because we're only running at I think we're only running over 2 overdrives right now, and I think we could definitely add a couple more smelters, which should probably like top it off. So that bank of pures will run all of these, and then we're kind of maxed out, like that we're efficiently using the resources. It's definitely not a train problem, which is good. I was a little worried that the train wouldn't be fast enough or have enough storage. It is working. Its frequency is good enough, and we have this buffer here. Now this is overkill in the buffer. It's actually, it's basically empty down here and it's draining up into some sinks up here. But in the event that we actually get to a point where we're overflowing, we have all of this extra bits, right? This train, ultimately, we may continue the train and continue all the way down and have it pick up more ore, or we might have a second train that runs on this line from a second ore station. For example, down here, a train, we would normally just run a belt from here, but as an example, we could run a train from another ore facility, an iron ore facility over here, and bring it over into this train station as needed. So that's the flexibility of this area and what we can do. All right, we've done a lot more work in our new factory area. We've expanded our train on stream to add 3 more cars. We're bringing in limestone. We're also bringing in copper. We're now converting the copper into wire, copper sheets, and cables. We're also bringing some crystal over. I didn't actually make the crystal here, which is neat. I don't have to do everything here, which is nice. We actually did the construction of it over here. So it's essentially like the first step is the smelting process in most things. So for crystals and limestone, obviously you use a constructor. So that's what we're doing. We're actually, instead of training it over, which I thought maybe we should do, I belted it over since it's so close. So we made a big building. It's a pure node. It's generating about, I think 200, 300. I can't remember what it is. A minute, which is probably enough, I'm hoping, for our needs. But anyways, that's being pumped in here. And we've been just doing a ton of work on stream behind the scenes, mostly just rebuilding all of the starter stuff that we had at the other base, but on a larger scale. As you can see here, it's really expanding out. We've left some room. The way the factory is designed to go up. So as we need more of any of these things, we can just build straight up into the sky, which is nice. It just future-proofs the area. The only thing we'd run into a little bit of a problem is just some of the beltways. We'd have to rethink a few things there, but that's easy. Reconnecting stuff is not that hard. We've left gaps. We can also run things on the end. And yeah, so that's where we're at. We're slowly taking over this platform. And we mostly, since the last kind of clip, we mostly worked on all of this section here. So that is making me very excited for the future, because now we can actually start setting up our manufacturers, which is the ultimate goal of all this work. And as you can see, I've kind of laid a few out here. We're starting to need things like computers and stuff like that. So I've kind of decided, okay, what do we need to make these things? Modular frames, steel pipes, concrete, all that stuff, circuit boards, quick wire. So kind of just going through it all, making sure we have the necessary stuff. Now, there's a lot of other things that aren't actually here yet. Mostly the plastics, a lot of the steel. But what we're going to do is we're probably going to reroute some of the things we're doing. We're going to use the train for Caterium or for the wire. We're just going to bring that straight in as a processed item as opposed to bringing in Caterium ingots, because why bother? We've already got a whole plant set up. We'll bring it over and we'll probably just nick it in there somewhere. And that's it. The steel is going to get redirected because we do not need steel at all at our other base. We're actually going to reroute it to another truck station. We'll keep the original one, but it'll actually end up just being fuel. And then we'll just run, I mean, honestly, we don't even need to run trucks. We can probably just run a belt. So we'll see. We'll figure that out. I'm trying to keep as much legacy stuff as possible, but if it doesn't make sense, there's no need to keep it, and we've been kind of getting rid of it. All that being said, there is one thing I wanted to check out. I wanted to start adding in some details here. Since this is going to become kind of our central hub, adding in a few little workshop-y style things might be useful. And I think I'll probably just toss this over here for now. Or maybe over here, since we'll probably be going up and down the stairs more. So one thing we have that we haven't made yet is actually the hover pack. So let's go ahead and make this. I've never used this. This is the first time, and I think I understand how it works. I mean, I've seen people use it, but my understanding is it's powered by power, for lack of a better word. It uses electricity. I don't know where this goes. I guess it goes on our back. Okay, so now what? Okay, it says we're not close to power, so do we... I guess maybe over here? Oh yeah, there we go. So we're distanced. Oh, I see. All right, so that tells us the distance to a power line. Okay, and then we get too far away. Oh, wow, that is pretty nice. Holy moly. So, is that letting us know we're close to it? I saw some sparky sparks. What was that all about? Is that just us getting close? Oh, yeah, I see. So it tells us which thing we're tied to. Is it the power pole or is it the line? I'm guessing it's the power poles. Yeah, probably. I mean, that's what it's drawing our line to. Yeah, so it's letting us know it's power poles. So essentially, in order to use it effectively, we probably need a line of poles, but I don't know. Feels like we can do... feels like we can pretty much move around our base freely here, which is good. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind. Now, how do I go down? I want to go down. So up is space. Usually, like, so space is up. Uh-oh, we're getting out of range. Control, down. Alt, Z, X, nope. How do we go down? Riddle me this. Okay. No. Let's hide that. Oh, here we go. Oh boy. So left side, right side, up, down, fly over here, and it reconnects. Okay, that's cool. So it reconnects when it comes down. Let's see. Let's look at their controls for a second. Okay, as you would guess, it's actually C. So C takes us down. Spacebar takes us up. I mean, that makes sense. Jump and crouch, right? I mean, that's the most logical thing. Okay, this is pretty cool. This will be really useful for big builds. We just have to make sure we have power. The jetpack, I think, is still better for traversal if we're going long ways, mostly because we can run faster than this. But this is definitely going to be useful for, you know, building or moving up and down our main factory way. So that is really cool. I'm very excited about that. That's a nice little addition. And then if we land, it goes away, right? Nice. And so it tells us on the left side there how close we are. Okay. And then, oh, shift. Actually, we move pretty quickly with shift. And then, yes, we run out of power. So the key is definitely you need lots of power poles hidden or nearby. As you can see, we have none around us, which is interesting because there's nothing here to power. Okay, so we're adding in the last train car, if you will, that we have access to. We only have one more free one. And I'm just drafting over the Caterium right now. And we should be able to load that up. That should just now go into the train. Let's make sure this is set to load. It is set to load. And yeah, so once the train goes away, it'll fill it up. So that will bring Caterium wire, or whatever it's called, I always forget. Quick wire. It'll bring quick wire over to the other base now, which is fantastic. So I'm getting used to this hovercraft. It's actually pretty good. It's really useful for building out beltways like this. So all we did is I just kind of drafted it down from where it was. It was originally going over to another part of our factory. Just pulling it in. And in theory, I mean, it should just crank away. We should have enough space. I'm not sure what's going on here. We have a Mark 5, Mark 5, Mark 5. I think we might have a slow boat somewhere here. There it is. There's always a slow one somewhere. So let's just upgrade that. There we go. Nice. And then that should just be screaming in. Somewhere else we got, looks like we got something else going on here. Oh, down below probably. Same problem. Upgrade that. Perfect. Yeah, so that should just be flowing in very nicely. And then, yeah, so now it's just a matter of going over to our other base and then setting it up and having it go to the right spot, because it's going to be a little bit different than it normally goes to. And here comes the train. Looks like it's all nice and full. Let's check the inventory. That's going to be iron on that side. I'm probably going to try out just one train going back and forth, because I think it might work better. So from here, all we have to do now is just run this out, but underneath here. So I'm going to go find out where this one is. There should be a blank one right about here. Not there. Right about there, maybe. We have no power poles, so I'm just jumping to see. Can't make it. I think this is the one here. Let's just switch out to our jetpack for now. Yeah, so this is the one right here. So this was set up for something else. I then changed the usage. But since we're going to be coming down over here, this is where we get into like the Swiss cheese of belts. But that's okay. It's all good. It's spaghetti. We got some spaghetti. I think we're going to have to take a look. Let's pop a hole here. It's almost perfect. I think we just draft down right here. Boom. We're going to do one right by the output. We'll just have it go right out and in. Rotate that sucker around. Make sure we choose the Mark 5 belt. This seems to be the problem we've been having. Okay, that goes in there. Drop down into our hole. And that will be right about there. Oop, that's actually in the wrong spot. Let's try that again. And I think there. And then we have to upgrade that, because that's the slow one. There we go. And from here, Mark 5 belts. Yeah, perfect. So we'll just take this over to our other spot, which is right there. So I'm trying to, we're kind of crammed in here. So let me just think where we can put it through. I don't think we'll go on this side. Let's work our way backwards from over here. Give you a little behind the scenes of how we set things up. Let's just turn this one around. Like so. And then we can kind of just snake this over here. 1, 2. Kind of make a nice little bend there. Have that brought over here. Keep it nice and straight. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be around here somewhere. Right about there. It's probably gonna be too long, but that's okay. We'll just line this up here. Right about there and into there. Perfect. Yeah, so there we go. So now we have quick wire coming into our storage system and going up, which is great. Let's see here. make sure everything's good. And then over on this side, I can grab one of you, put you there, edit the settings, paste the settings, and change the image to quick-wire, which is not obviously, there it is. Perfect. All right, so now we are storing quick-wire. So I would say that our basic setup is nearing completion in terms of just making the basic building components for the next tier, which is assemblers. So all of this stuff will be used in assemblers and manufacturers, in addition to some plastics and some other things which we will bring over. That's another whole other project. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode. If you liked it, bang on the like button down below, crash that subscribe button. As always, love to hear from you in the comments. My name is Boom, and I'm out.